Okay, so Capcom released today, a couple of hours ago actually, they released a statement about a rule change for the upcoming CPT, okay? And this sparked a lot of interesting moments here. This is basically like the gist of it, especially like this part right here. Maybe I should make it a little bit bigger so you can read it. I think this is good, right? So, we've decided to make the following change. If up and down directions are input at the same time, both inputs must be maintained or both inputs must be rejected. Okay? Now this is a pretty big change, or a small one depending on how you look at it. Previously, the way it worked is the standard at the moment for hitboxes is up plus down equals up. Okay? And left plus right equals neutral. Now we have left plus right equals neutral, and up and down equals neutral. So this may look like a minor change to some, and to others it basically breaks Hitbox, like the advantage that Hitbox has. What does it actually do, or why was this even changed? In my opinion, Capcom really changed this because like there are examples in Street Fighter V where you could actually see the effect in place right here. Birdie's EX Dolphin Dive, for example. Daigo made a video about this when he switched to Hitbox. He said, well, there are moves in Street Fighter V that are actually easier to beat on Hitbox. And he showed this because you can do a crouching flash kick with Guile, with Hitbox. And the reason why you can do that is because you can hold down, and then if you press up and kick, you don't actually go to a neutral position, you actually go immediately from down to flash kick. Because up plus kick after you press down is flash kick. So one frame you're crouching, and the next frame you're already in the flash kick, right? And this actually has big implications because it means that once you're in the flash kick animation, you're not going to be susceptible to throws anymore. And if you compare that to arcade stick, if you want to do a flash kick, you have to hold down, and then what do you actually do when you do the flash kick? You actually have to go to the neutral position before you press up. There's no way around that. There's nothing you can do. You have to go from down to neutral to up. And when you go to the neutral position, Guile actually stands up. And when you stand up, the EX Dolphin Dive of Birdie will grab you. Okay? And the hitbox, like, you will actually get hit much earlier when you're standing compared to crouching. This is where the difference comes into play. In a normal scenario, it doesn't make a difference whether you have the arcade stick side effect of standing up before doing the flash kick, but you do have this side effect when you're dealing with a command throw that you need to react to. If there is a difference in crouching and standing, and there is a difference, you have a lot more frames. It takes a lot more frames for Birdie to catch you when you're crouching. But when you're standing up, it takes, like, you're gonna get hit first. So Daigo showed that you can actually punish the EX Dolphin Dive on reaction with Guile much easier on Hitbox compared to a stick, because you simply have more frames to react. And I think this is what Capcom is thinking about, you know? I think this is the motivation for Capcom to say, let's not have like a difference in controller type. We don't want to design our... Like, they need to make sure that whatever move they design is, like, has approximately the same amount of strength and weaknesses on every controller type. So what they're trying to do here is they want to make sure that limitations on pad and stick are the same on Hitbox as well. And honestly, I kind of get it, but at the same time, I think Capcom, with this change, here's my opinion, I think they are not ready for the side effect. Because people have already figured out that with this change, there are actually new shortcuts that exist. You can actually do with Guile, you can more easily do walking flash kicks, for example. That's just an example, you know? It's just an example. There are a few things that are actually different, and you can use this to your advantage as well. There are certain things that are gonna die, like the instant flash kick from a crouching position, but there are new things, you know? Even Shotos can benefit from this, but there's some weird stuff. Like now you can actually more easily, I haven't looked into this much, but people have been discussing backdashing, for example, or dashing in general, being much easier now from a crouching state. Now you could argue that this is exactly the type of problem that they want to prevent with the rule change, right? And here's my prediction. I think Capcom is underestimating the problem with Hitbox. Thank God. Thank God I'm not sponsored by Furin, because I think this is like some bad press. I love my Furin FRS, okay? Like this thing right here, this is awesome. It looks awesome, it feels awesome, it plays awesome. I got some awesome new silent switches as well, and they are great. I love this thing, but I want to be honest with you. I think there is a real chance Capcom in the future is gonna ban this thing outright. I think this is just the first step. I want to be completely honest with you here. I think there's gonna be there might come a day where Capcom realizes that the problem isn't about the SOCD cleaning. The problem isn't about, oh, let's make sure up and down equals neutral. That's not the difference between hitbox and stick. The difference between hitbox, stick, and D-pad is when you're playing on a D-pad or on a stick, you're actually, like especially with the arcade stick, you're physically limited to one direction at a time. If you want to move to a new direction, you can't hit it simultaneously. You actually have to physically move a lever to a new micro switch, right? That's how it works. There's no way around that. You don't get to activate two micro switches at the same time. And a similar effect exists on a D-pad. The effect is much more pronounced on an arcade stick though. Did me download Street Fighter 6 PNG.exe from LimeWire again? Well, if I did, I'd be safe because I'm using Surfshark, you know? Just putting that out there, you know? You can be safe too. Get yourself some security and some privacy with Surfshark VPN. You support the channel, you get a first to 5 set against me with feedback on your gameplay, and yeah, you get to do some interesting stuff without getting, well, caught, you know? Not that I'm promoting that, I'm just saying, you get some more privacy. Anyways, where was I? I think there's a real chance Capcom might ban Hitbox because, as I said, the problem isn't really about the SOCD cleaning. It's not just about that. It's Hitbox fundamentally alters the way movement works. And I think at some point Capcom is going to make a decision that the difference between arcade stick, pad, and Hitbox is just too big to let all of these three things coexist. The fact that you can just press all directional buttons at the same time fundamentally changes the way you play the game. And I'm not sure, I mean, at the moment, Brook, for example, they just released a patch. They just released a patch to comply with the new rule set, okay? So within a couple of hours, there's already a software patch. And most people who are like buying like something like the Furin FRS, most people have a PCB from Brook inside, and you're gonna get patched, you know? It's not a problem, you're gonna be fine, you know? So my Furin FRS right now was only tournament illegal for a couple of hours. It's already back on track. I can use this at the upcoming CPT, and you can too. But I'm saying there's a legitimate chance Capcom might be messing with the community even further at some point. I don't actually think that's going to happen in the first year of Street Fighter 6. I don't think that's going to happen. I think so. If you're planning to play a hitbox and you're planning to take advantage, get the advantage of a hitbox, I think you're safe at least for the first year. Okay, but I think over time, over the years, with Street Fighter 6 and with so much money on the line, there's going to be discussion about the difference with how a hitbox operates versus pad and stick. I think this is inevitable, but I kind of hope I'm wrong, you know? But at the moment, this is how I see it, and this is what I feel like we're gonna get in this direction at some point. Actually, Jim from Furin Arcade is correct. The cool thing about the Furin is there's a stick module for it, and I actually own it as well. I played on the stick module at Capcom Cup, so I can actually turn this into a stick at any point within a couple of minutes, you know? So, I guess not a big deal. You can commit to the hitbox, and if Capcom messes with you, turn it into a stick. That's a legit option. Do they keep changing the rules every year? They keep changing the rules depending on the needs, you know? So yeah, there are a couple of other rules about keyboards, for example, as well. But the spicy one is about hitboxes. I'm not actually sure what the difference in keyboard rules is, but now they are stating that you can use keyboard if the tournament is on Steam. It's kind of awkward though, because if two players with keyboard play together at a tournament, they actually have to do this through the CFN, even though they're playing offline. They have to do this through the Battle Lounge, and if they can't do it, this is what this states. If they can't do that, is that even what it states? I think so, right? If they can't do that, then they can't play. I'm actually kind of confused about this requirement, but it is what it is. Apparently, there's no way on PC to have two keyboards connected at the same time. A bit odd, but the spicy one is definitely about like the changes for leverless controllers, right? The fact that Capcom is requiring a change, and this change, by the way, is very like so far I've seen a lot of people complain about it and really unpopular. The Hitbox team has made a statement about this, saying that this is not tournament. This is not the standard that was built, and Capcom like isn't like an authority on this, so they can obviously have this rule, but it doesn't mean that everybody has to follow suit, right? I do wonder though, like, is everyone going to follow suit here? This is a kind of an interesting question. If others are going to make this change as well, and if not, like, maybe there's just no need for this, because as I said, I do think like the specific reason why this was actually, or the motivation to change this, comes from the flash kick video that Daigo made about flash kick being different on hitbox compared to pad or stick, and that's quite interesting. I wonder if other, like, if this kind of problem doesn't exist in other games, because as I said, I do think other problems are gonna exist. There's like more room for problems to arise now with this change. They fixed some loophole or some problem that they saw, and the fix that they are applying is going to create new opportunities for problems. So, we'll see how Capcom is going to handle this, because I feel like at this point, they actually don't have a lot of, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do if the new SOCD requirement is going to mess with Street Fighter 6 even more? Because now, like, people are saying you can do crouching and dashing, like crouching into a dash much easier. If Capcom decides, hey, this gives you an unfair advantage, what are they going to do about that? Like, seriously, what are they going to do about that? Like, there's only so much that you can change through SOCD cleaning. At some point, you have to acknowledge that the hitbox allows you to press all directional inputs at the same time. And it creates situations that are unique to hitbox. And if you consider that an advantage, what are you going to do? So yeah, it's quite interesting, and I'm really curious to see. I think hitbox at this point is going to be safe to use for Street Fighter 6, at least the first year. But I think it's going to be a continuous discussion whether a full ban is going to happen or not, or should be happening or not. I hope it's not going to happen, but I feel like there's a real chance at some point within the lifetime of Street Fighter 6, this might happen. So yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know.